puzzle. And then finally, I called Jennifer Nobles, who is AKA Jill Kipps, tonight to make it all happen in terms of detail and the really logistical pieces that are present in a Second Life environment. I often say this, but I like to eat barriers for breakfast. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of barriers when you conceive of a concept like this. And to get past those barriers, you need to think about what is your intent for Second Life. At the time that I contacted these folks, all I wanted was a place to hold events like the one that you're seeing tonight. I didn't have a conception yet of a blended virtual ecosystem. And we're going to talk tonight about the differences between instance behavior in Second Life for educators and learning and blended virtual ecosystems. So from that initial conversation in Chicago, we were bold right out of the chute in North Carolina. There's a wonderful inn in the mountains of Asheville, North Carolina called the Grove Park that has housed many presidents and heads of state. I went after one of our great tech guys on our staff at North Carolina Virtual, Adam Renfro, who is represented in the room tonight by Adam Zapatero, and said, hey buddy, no pressure, we're going to pull off Second Life to about 985 school administrators for the first time in an open keynote. Well, obviously there was a lot of pressure, and in that presentation we wanted to bring in not only the people in the room, but people from the National Education and Computing Conference as well. So if you haven't had an opportunity to check out last month's conference bleeding over to the 1st of July, Adam will type in the link below, the NEC link, the necc.org link, that'll give you an opportunity to go back and see some of the archived presentations, the Online Learning Institute, and certainly a lot of the blogs around that conference. What we did was try to bring a presentation to the masses of school leaders in the state and talk to them about being disruptive with virtual worlds and Second Life. Now, maybe not too much unlike tonight, there were people in the audience that had kind of three perspectives. One perspective was, this is great, and I'm an early adopter, and how can I use Second Life in my own professional development or teaching and learning? Another perspective was, this is way too much, and I'm sort of glad I'm retiring, and I need to get out of the educational sphere if this is what we're going to be doing. And then another group was kind of on the fence. They wanted to see value-add lessons. They wanted to see instance-type behavior and tools and processes that could make this cost-effective for school districts, cost-effective for universities, and certainly value-add for students, which should be the main focus of anything we design. So Adam and I launched off that evening with the help of Jill Kipps and Chris Chrisman and others. And at that time, we were very bold, and my avatar had hair, and I was not very stressed about pulling this off statewide. I think with anything, we failed forward. We pulled off some great remarks that day. We got people thinking, but we also had people thinking about some of the questions that we're going to present to you tonight on the balance of innovation versus security. That entire argument in the educational sphere, whether you can be innovative and at the same time protect children, has definitely caused this avatar to lose his hair, both in Second Life and in First Life. But we think we've got a lot of lessons learned that we can share with you tonight on how to navigate that process. Now, in telling you that, before we get into the vision casting of what our behavior was going to be in Second Life, I always like to pause after some introductory remarks. I'm seeing some smiles or some recognitions that you've kind of been there, or you understand some of the challenges. Does anybody have a comment or question before I move on to how we moved from a very bold step with those school leaders with a presentation to actually talking about constructing our own island for the purposes of teaching and learning in North Carolina? Yeah, I think that's a great statement coming in over the chat, that if you approach this, that you're going to fail forward, but the key is to really analyze what your failures were. Were they technical? Were they audio? Were they things that you can correct the next time around? Or were they lesson design? Did you try to repeat some of the bad practices in face-to-face also in the virtual world? Or did you change them? I mean, right